Hello, I'm Julie with stitchesoflovequilting.com, and I am here to help you love machine applique as much as I do. It is so much fun, and hopefully the techniques I'm going to show you today will make you fall in love with it just as much as I do. Here's the little project we're going to make today. It is called the candy corn toss. Just in time for Halloween, this is such a simple little mat that you can make in no time. Let's get started. Please click the link below and you can download this free pattern called Candy Corn Toss to make your own candy corn mat. If you're like me and you love to get things in the mail and have everything ready for you because you just like to sew and don't want to do all the prep work, we have a little kit for you. So you can go to the website, www.stitchesoflovequilting.com, and download the free pattern and then order your kit, and it'll come in the mail to you lickety split and you'll be ready to make your candy corn toss. Okay, everyone, are you excited? Let's get started making our candy corn toss mat. Okay, so you have your pattern, and then what you're going to need first is your we're going to trace our pieces because we have to get the fusible on the wrong side of our fabrics. So I'm going to show you how we do this. Now, this is the orange part of candy corn. So we're lucky candy corn has 3 colors. Generally, now they have modern candy corn, but we use yellow, orange, and white. So the orange piece is what's in the middle. Ask me how I know. I've eaten enough candy corn. So we've labeled on your pattern. Let me turn this way so you can see it good. Right here, we've taken all of our number 2 pieces, which is the orange part, the middle portion of your candy corn, and we've corralled them all together in this little box. So you can take your fusible, which we like to use the Perfect Applique by Sulky. This fusible is so nice. Oh, sorry. I'm getting used to the camera, you guys. So this fusible is so nice. It's very lightweight. So when you have it in your quilt, or in your little mat, whatever you're making, it's not a real heavy, bulky. It doesn't make your quilt stiff. So that's why we love this. So it comes in these little packages, and we're just going to open this up. It kind of feels like paper. And what you want to use when you trace this on this paper, this fusible, is I like to use a Sharpie, because it's not going to, pencil will sometimes smudge and smear off. And obviously we don't need such a big piece of paper. So I'm just going to loosely rough cut a piece that's going to cover this rectangle area where we're going to be doing our tracing of our orange portion. Oh, thank you. Magic hands came in. So we want to trace onto the paper side. You'll feel with your any fusible, there's kind of a bumpy side, or you can feel that it has adhesive on it, and then one side is paper. So you will put your piece on it, open your pen, and then you just simply trace. Now we like to use a light pad here. As you can see from this, we can see a lot better with this light pad coming through the light. So you just place your fusible on here and you simply trace. And you know, it's very helpful to stay on the lines. In this particular case, when you're using this pattern, the main portion you want to keep exactly accurate on the line is the outer portion of the candy corn, because you're going to want them all to line up nice and neatly as they come down, you know, when you position them in on your little mat. So trace those. And if you go off the line a little, it doesn't matter because you're going to be cutting them out. Okay, so as you can see, you would trace all of these, and I like to label them number 2 because that's going to be important when you go to put your applique pieces down. So you would label all of these as number 2. You can even write like orange on the bottom here, so you know that this is the piece that's going to go on your orange. If you're like me, I like to trace everything and have all my little pieces of fusible ready. Now I'm not going to trace all of these because you've all seen people trace before, so I'm going to loosely rough cut this out. I have a little iron here at the side, and I'm going to use it to press these on.
When they're tracing, though, we did give them a cut line to make their life easy in red.
Yes, we did. If you want to trace this, do you want me to repeat that?
If you don't mind.
Okay. Should I say pause?
No.
Okay, guys, anyway, it's real here. This is how we really act. There is this red line on here. So if you wanted to trace this red line and then just trace all of these together, you will have it nice and neat to be able to put on your piece of fabric. Clearly, you're going to need a piece of fabric that's a little bit larger than the piece that you're traced, obviously. So I'm going to move this aside. And how we like to do it here is I like to just still keep my light pad because I'm going to need it when I position these together. So I'm going to put a glass mat on top of my light pad. This will protect your light pad from getting damaged because generally they are made out of this, I don't know, some kind of plastic stuff. And so my iron is right here to my side. And then I have my fabric. We're going to iron this to the wrong side of the fabric. And one thing I should have told you, in this particular case, it doesn't matter. And we always provide in our patterns reversed images. But say you had, I guess the best way I could tell you is say your pattern has a bird and on your pattern, your bird is facing to the right. If you don't reverse that image and when you trace it, make it so it's tracing to the left, when you iron it on, your fabric after you cut it out is going to end up so your bird is facing to the left instead of to the right. So a lot of times people get disappointed. They say, oh, I did mine backwards. Well, that's because you didn't have reversed images. So we give you reversed images so to make it easy. So you place this on here. This is very lightweight. It takes about 3 seconds for it to adhere. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not in the middle, you guys. Just 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. And then I like to cut out, to me, it's easier to handle a smaller piece. Am I in the middle?
You're good.
You guys, I'm sorry. And then you want to cut out on your line. See, now this is a very light line.
Do you know turning your light pad off?
Oh, let me do that. There, that probably helps you. It helps me too. Okay, so you want to cut this out, cut out your pieces, cut carefully on the line. Now for cutting, I like to use a really nice pair of scissors. And these I like for this are the Karen K. Buckley. They're serrated and they have, sorry.
You have 3 arms today.
Yeah, I have 3 arms, you guys. That's my daughter over there. So anyway, the serrated edge helps grip the fabric, so it makes it real easy to cut out. So you're going to cut out all your pieces. One little tip I like to do when I cut out my pieces is I will use a paper plate or something to kind of corral them all together. And you can see I've already cut these out. That's my binding there. Let me get that out of the way. See, so I've already cut out a bunch of pieces because I knew y'all wouldn't want to watch me do every single one of them. So they're ready, but I do have one that's ready. I'm going to show you how we press them. So clearly you're going to have a bunch of these, actually 15, because we have 15 candy corns. We put 14 on the front and we put 1 on the back just for cuteness. Okay, so now that you have that done, you're going to have to follow in your pattern. You should have already cut out your background and your backing. And your background is cut at 8 by 10, so we'll have that over there. But to iron with this, we like to use our applique placement guide. Now this is, as you'll see, are we good? Yep. As you'll see on the directions here, it says we have a 9 by 7 trim line, 8.5 by 6.5 binding seam. So what you're going to do, this piece is 10 by 8, so it's going to cover this when you put it on here to iron your pieces in place. You're going to have plenty of fabric. You're going to have plenty of room, but you want to use this to build your units. And I call it building units because I like to build the piece before I actually put it on there. There's a piece of fuzz on here. Okay, so this is an applique pressing guide or applique fusing mat. And so this has kind of a sticky and it's wonderful. Let me just tell you, when you build your units, it won't stick to this. So what you're going to do, I've got 3 pieces here the yellow, the white, and the orange. And we're going to, as you can see, it's 3, 2, 1. So number 1 is our white part. So we're going to just kind of give it a little crimp. And you can see the paper separates. And then you just want to put this. Is this a good one to use?
That's perfect.
Okay. Put this in place right here. And you can see it sort of, I don't know, kind of sticks right where you put it. And then you want to put number 2, the orange one that we just showed you. Put that down and line it up. Now we give you these extra lines on here. You'll be like, what are those double lines? Well, that's to help guide you so that you have these in the proper position. And then your third piece to put on is this bottom yellow. On all of our patterns, we tell you the order in which to place them down, which makes it a lot easier. Less thinking, more fun. Okay, so now that's in position. Now what you want to do when you build a unit, you want to kind of make sure that these sort of stick together like these. See, this is already stuck together. This is one that I prepared earlier. So I'm going to take my little iron, and this is why a little iron is so nice. And I'm just going to touch the tip of it on the edge where this overlaps. I'm not going to do the whole piece because if you apply so much heat to these, to any applique, it doesn't matter what kind of fusible you're using, eventually the glue, the adhesive portion, will disappear. And you don't want that. You want to keep some so that when you put it on your fabric, it will actually stick. Okay, so those should be stuck well enough that I can pick it up. Let's see. Yeah, see there? Another little candy corn. And I can tell y'all it's a good thing they don't make candy corn this big. Could you imagine?
I guess you'd eat fewer.
Yeah, you'd eat fewer probably, or sugar overload. You just go ahead and pass out. Okay, so now we're actually ready to put our pieces onto our background. So we've already got this cut out, and we're going to lay this on top. Well, we need to get rid of this. I like to get rid of this mat. Thank you, assistant. She's actually the boss. She's the filming queen. Okay. So I hope they can see. Can you see on this?
You're perfect. Go left just a smidge.
Left. My left, right?
Yep.
You can see that this does overlap even on the black, through the black. So it's definitely bigger. We're in position. It doesn't really matter where we put it. So now what we want to do.
You're going to toss your candy corn.
I'm going to do a candy corn toss. I'm really going to just position them. And the way we do this is simply how we do all of our applique. You know, when you have it ready, then you put it on. And to me, this is the fun part because this is when your block is kind of coming alive. Now,
I love that you said that.
What?
I always say the applique comes alive.
Do you?
Every video.
I have a little pair of tweezers here. It doesn't matter what kind of tweezers. Some are better than others, I think, but these aren't the best. But these are what I have today. They actually are orange and they match the candy corn. That's why they're here. So I like things to match. So anyway, position these on here. And sometimes the reason I do have tweezers, because sometimes when you start tweaking them with your fingers, your fingers are a lot bigger and little bitty pieces start moving around. So tweezers make it a little bit easier sometimes. So this is real simple. And as you can see, kind of fun. And you just put these in place. And this perfect applique, when you go to iron it down, it doesn't take very long. And like I said earlier, if you keep heating and heating and heating something, it's gonna, your fusible is gonna disappear. Where it goes, I don't know, but it just disappears, truly. And also, can they see this piece real well?
Yeah.
See this piece right here? There's like, I guess I didn't line it up perfectly when I was fusing it down. I could take the scissors and trim that. It's so tiny, nobody's really going to notice, but I do. So I'm just going to nick off that little bitty point there, and then I'm going to look at the other side because that means I must have done something to the other side of it, which I did. There, so that just looks a little bit nicer. We'll put this one here. And then that. And if you wanted to do this and you wanted to line them all up in a row, you can do that. You know, once you have the little pattern, you can just put candy corn everywhere. Candy corn, candy corn. That one and that one. Okay, so here's our 14 pieces for the front. I'm going to move this aside. We don't need that yet because we're going to put it on the back. Now, I like to give everything a quick look and make sure everything's in position where I want it to be. And then I take my iron and I really just give it about five or 6 seconds, but that's not 5 or 6 seconds. Initially, with so many little pieces like this, I like to stick them down to make sure they're going to kind of stay where they are. And then I'll come back and hold it down for a couple more seconds. I'm counting to 5, y'all. Slowly, sort of. The only thing I do slowly is hand stitch. Truly. Well, I don't run my sewing machine very fast. Some people are able to run their machines super fast. I don't do that.
I love to.
Do you? She floors it. But she's a slow driver. Now, where you all are may not be as humid as where we are in Florida. As you can see, the heat on here makes my paper crinkle. It's no big deal. It's just there's moisture and everything here. So it's not a problem. So now this is ready for us to stitch. See, look at that. Aren't they cute? Candy corn toss. Don't throw your placement guide away because you're going to need it again when you get ready to trim.
Do you want to do the back?
I'm going to do the back, yes, right now. So put that one aside, and then I'm going to take my background placement pattern. Backing. You know, in quilting, we have so many words with B's. Gets me fumbled up sometimes now that I'm of age. Okay.
29.
29. Many times.
I'm 3.
So you want to, again, put this in place. You can see the candy corn is right here centered. We move it up and you can stick it wherever you want it or don't put it on at all. But we want to move it up when you're doing something like this so that you at least know that you're not going to sew your binding on top of it.
We typically go 1 inch above your binding.
Yeah, we go about 1 inch above the binding, said the boss over there. And the top of my candy corn came off, so I'm just going to put it down like that, which is kind of nice that this little weird thing happened because you guys see what happens sometimes and you know it's not a problem. So then we want to put this on here just like this. And again, we're going to take our little iron and let it sit here. Da, 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 da. Okay, that should be stuck. So now it's stuck. Okay, now I'm going to turn my light pad off and we're going to get things prepped and we're going to move to the sewing machine because this is where the fun, to me, is the most fun. Okay, just a minute. We'll be right back. Okay, everybody. So I have ready at the sewing machine. How I have my machine set up is I have a 30 weight black thread in my needle and a 50 weight black thread in the bobbin and a 90-14 needle right here. The reason for the 90-14 is because it has a larger hole and it's a little bit stronger. It helps accommodate the heavier thread. Now you might want to ask, why am I using a heavier thread? Well, I just kind of like the look of it. If you can see, do I have this in the screen? This candy corn I just stitched while we were setting up to show you that's stitched twice around everywhere with the 30 weight thread. Now when I made the sample, I used 50 weight thread in the needle. You can do whatever you like. So yeah, take a look at this one. It's just a little bit lighter look. That's darker and heavier looking. It's all a matter of what you like.
And you can show this when you only stitched once.
Yes, and here, let me see if we can get to the middle. Get that. This one right here was just stitched one time around with the exception of the middle. And I'll be honest with you, that's because I was talking to somebody when I did it and I forgot to go the second time around. So, you know, things like that happen. Now, also, let me point out to you, this one is done in a method that I call kind of like a scribble stitch, where it doesn't matter if you're actually on the lines and you don't care. You just sort of freehand wiggle around and do it. That is a popular look, or you can do it where it's more accurate on the lines like I did here. I don't know which one I like better.
I like a scribble.
Brittany likes the scribble. I'm just whatever.
I'm better at scribbling.
So it really doesn't matter. You know, it's your little project. You do it how you like. But anyway, also let me tell you one thing. I have this mat while I've been doing this over here sitting in front of the machine to the side. You can't see it with the camera, but it's nice to have a little mat to put your scissors on. It'll help prevent scratches and dings on your sewing machine. Just a little tip in case you want to make yourself one to fit in front of your machine. At any rate,
open toe foot.
Yes, we also have, to make our machine ready, you want to use an open toe foot when you're doing applique. Let me get this out from under. Well, that helped, I guess. Obviously, if you don't know what an open toe foot is, there's nothing in the middle. They've taken that little divider bar out and it's open. You can see exactly where you're steering your fabric. And basically, that's all you're doing when you do machine applique. The machine is doing its stitching straight, and you're just maneuvering the fabric around to follow the lines. Now, also to prep this, we have a stabilizer underneath. It's much nicer when you stitch to use a stabilizer underneath. This one is, you can see, it's kind of like, I don't know, papery, filling, interfacing type feeling, papery stabilizer.
It's a stabilizer.
I don't know what to call it other than
stabilizer.
I don't know what it's made out of. But anyway, the kind I like to use is the Sulky Tear Easy stabilizer, because when it tears, when you go to tear it away after your project is done, you know, you'll tear it and it doesn't distort your stitches. It's not so important for distortion with a straight stitch like this, but when you're doing a stitch like a blanket stitch or a buttonhole stitch, it can really, a heavier stabilizer that's hard to remove can make your stitches kind of look wonky. And I like mine to be neat because I spent some time doing it, so I want it to look nice. Okay?
Let's stitch.
Let's stitch, everybody. Okay, so first I want to talk about the easy pathway for stitching this. If you start, let's see if I can get my little scissors in here. If you start in the middle, let's assume you're going to go twice. So you start in the middle and you like come across here, you turn around and come back on top of it again, come down, come across this way at the bottom and come back across again for your second row. And then you just have to go around it twice and you've done, it'll be nice and neat. It doesn't matter if you go across areas 2 or 3 times extra, it just really doesn't matter. But if you want it to be extra nice, do that. Across the middle, back across, down, across again, back across, and then around twice. And you'll have it done. So let me show you what I mean by that. And we will just start right here on this little orange one. And I like to go this way for some reason. And also you want to stitch this about 1/8 of an inch away, or I guess it's more like a 1/16 maybe, just kind of close to the edge. If you go super close to the edge, you will split the fabric possibly. Another tip I have for you, if you have a machine, now not all machines do this, but if you have a machine that will do needle down so that when you stop stitching, your needle stays down in the thing, that's great. It makes it easier to pivot. Also, if you have it where your machine will also put it down and then raise the presser foot for you, ooh la la, talk about wonderful. This machine will do that. It's, I think this is one of the first machines I've ever had that would do that. And let me tell you, it's a game changer. It is so nice. So if you don't have that and you're ever in the market for a new machine, you might want to check out and see if you can get that feature on the machine of choice. So I always like to make sure that my needle is going to go about where I want it to. I do stitch this in a slower motion. And I have this set to be needle down, and it should raise a presser foot for me. And I sew with my finger. I also have start stop button. I don't use the foot pedal. It took me a little while to get used to sewing with my finger, but I've been doing it for about almost 20 years. And so I'm pretty used to it now. And see, now I'd like to see how it raised the foot for me. Isn't that nice? But I want to take one more little stitch. Oh, that's another thing I should tell you. I have shortened my stitch length to 2. That way it's, when I go around my curves, it's tighter and it makes a little bit nicer curve. Okay, so now I'm going to come right back over, and I guess I'll do this like Brittany likes it, not so accurate if I can. I'm so used to when I do like buttonhole, you want to be accurate with what you're doing. It's kind of hard for me to be looser.
It's still easier for me to not be accurate.
But Brittany still prefers the other way. So you do whatever seems best for you. Let's see, we're going to come across here like this. We're going to spin it back around and come this way. And I mean, this is so easy and so relaxing. It gives you time to think. You can even, you know, I sometimes listen to books, or I'll watch my little TV, or listen to it really. I'm watching what I'm doing mostly. See, you take extra stitches when you do these little curved areas.
You pivot.
You pivot. Lots of little pivots. It's kind of like, you know, when you're driving around a curve, this, you know, you got to slow down a little bit around the middle so you don't go slinging off. See, look, one time around. By the time you've done several of these, you will get a little bit faster with it and, you know, speed up your machine or your foot. I don't know how. It's been so long, honestly, since I've used my foot to sew. Whenever I get a new machine, the foot pedal just stays in its little packaging and goes in the drawer somewhere.
Mine's in the attic.
Oh, Brittany's is in her attic. Okay.
Never opened.
See, I've taught her to sew with her finger from the get-go. So she's like, what? There's a foot pedal?
I can't understand a foot pedal.
Yeah. So we're going to keep on going around. We're almost back around already. Now, when you're ready to, after you've done all of these, well, just a minute. When I finish this one, I'll talk to you about quilting it. Okay, so there it is. And again, I have scissor cut, so I mean, look at this. This is like lazy man sewing. But look how nice that looks. I'm so happy with that. That one's what I call accurate stitching. I promised you some quilting tips for your mug rat. First, I want to recommend that you do follow step-by-step directions that we provided in your pattern. When it comes time and you're ready to do your quilting, what I did for this one is I marked a line with a friction pin so that it would erase with an iron. And then I'm stitched 1/2 inch apart in both directions. And I did not quilt over the candy corn. To do that, when you come to a candy corn, you just kind of go around it to where your next line is and then just turn around and follow the line. It's quite simple, but you can quilt it however you like. That's how I like to do it. We also provide on our YouTube channel binding tips, so you can follow the directions on easy directions on the channel for binding. We hope that you've enjoyed making this, and we'll return to Stitches Love Quilting for more fun applique projects, and hopefully you'll want to join us with some of our fun block of the months. Happy stitching!